This is actually a landing page. This is not the full website. You can see there's no additional buttons, and you can't read this anyway because, truth in advertising, the guy was right at Best Buy. He said, you will lose some resolution. But that's okay because we're not going to read these words anyway. So this is a landing page. This is a desktop landing page. On a desktop landing page, you need to have your key call to action here in the top right. No exceptions. Even on your website, right, your main company website, your call to action needs to be on the top right. And desktop is not dead. You can look at your analytics, your stats, and you can see how many visitors you're actually getting via desktop versus mobile. We track this for numerous clients, and the only folks that are above 50% are restaurants are above 50% of mobile. So they have sometimes 60% of all their traffic coming from smartphones. So it's almost like when you build a restaurant for a website for a restaurant these days, it's mobile first. It always it has been for a long time. But it isn't even mobile first or desktop first. It's just get the message out, get the content there that's going to deliver the message. But this is totally a desktop landing page. And obviously it has a lot of elements of a regular website, as far as the different things that he's doing. But the key thing is it has this call to action. And this leads into something we're talking about. They're requesting a free quote. That's the offer. So when you think about your offers, your offer has to be really relevant to the context of the media. So for instance, people are looking on Google for carpet cleaning. They see the ad. They end up on this page. They're looking for they really don't want anything else but to know how much. So there's no need for anything beyond what we would call this a transactional offer. Meaning it's an offer that basically precedes a transaction, meaning this is how much it's going to be. Does that make sense? You want to know the difference between transactional offers and consultative offers. Big difference, and we'll talk about that a little bit. Hopefully I'll entertain some questions on that. But the free quote is totally a transactional offer, and it's okay if you have the resources, you have the help, whatever the case may be, to test varying landing pages, to test varying offers, to see which one really hits.
Yeah.
Okay?
A/B split testing.
Well, yeah, A/B split testing for sure, but just to have a little bank of things you can kind of whip out, because I used to be a former martial arts school owner in my day, I have a pretty nice sized stable of martial arts school clients, and I encourage them. The big movement in the industry in the martial arts world over the last 5 years was to get someone to pay for a trial online, meaning to pay $19 for 2 weeks, right, and actually sign up literally and get their credit card. And the theory behind that, and actually it's true, is that they're more committed because they've given you a credit card and they've paid for this trial. They're a serious prospect, more likely to come in rather than someone that just says, hey, I'll take a free lesson, right? Does that make sense? But here's how, let's use Laura's business as an example. Consultative offer would be for the bride, right? The bride that, needs to sit down, we need to assess her needs, make sure she's not Bridezilla or whatever the case may be, right? We need to do all that and have a consultative approach with that. So what would undervalue it would be a free quote, would totally undervalue possibly undervalue that, right? More of let's have a sit down, let's have a consultation, let's find out about you. And by the way, that's typically $99, but you can get that now for nothing. Whatever the case may be, right? You have to obviously figure out what's going to be believable for your business. Hey, I'm sure you've all seen it. You've seen the web pages, and you get $10,000 in bonuses just for buying this thing for $50. Are you kidding? Seriously? Like $10,000 in bonuses,
My pillow, buy one, get one free. It's forever, so it's not the price. The buy one, get one free price. It's just half the price. It's the real price.
Yeah.
You can't buy just one.
Yeah. Well, but again, you have to have it something that's believable for your business.
So they're selling it, they're making more money because you can only buy two at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, however, you know,
It's pretty smart.
we lose money on every sale, but we make it up in volume. Anybody get that? No. Doesn't work that way, unless you're running a company like Angie's List or something like that, which has never made a profit in 15 years. Never. Okay, so let's go back to Laura's business, right? Because I told you I'd pick on some of you, but here's the consultative approach. Sit down, you got to make sure you find the right photographer, and hey, we need to make sure we're right for you anyways. We're going to ask you, these different things, and it's a 30-minute session and whatever. And I would even think about some bullet points. What's covered in that session? What we do. We do this, we do this, we do this. When I used to run martial arts schools, I kind of became, somewhat famous when you become famous in an industry, that means you go to the airport, no one really knows who you are, but if you see someone who's in that industry or was at a conference, they go, "Oh, hey, Mike." So you become famous for like 5 seconds, So one of the things that I did was I created bullet points of what you would actually get on the first lesson. And I created all these things like you learn the 4 laws of focus. So a parent looks at that and goes, 4 laws of focus, what's that? Oh, it's easy. It's called focus your eyes, focus your ears, focus your mind, focus your body. Those are the 4 laws of focus. So in the lesson, we teach that. All right, I said you came here because you want to learn the 4 laws of focus. So here they are. But wouldn't tell them that in the offer. It just kind of piques their curiosity. And then the magic word that stops the bully in his tracks. What's the magic word? It's confidence, actually. If you're confident, you can repel bullies. Now, there it is. There's truth. So what I teach other martial arts schools that they would ask me, what is this? What are the 4 laws of focus? They would get their curiosity. I can't teach this. I can't advertise this if I don't know what it is. They go crazy. So you would think about this how it applies to each of your business. You may think about the bullet points that are covered in an informational session. Does that make sense? So when you make that offer, you can go as detailed as possible. Like, we say, hey, free quote. Okay, that's cool. I've worked with solar companies where it's, an on-site solar assessment. Sounds better than free quote if I say on-site solar assessment. Work with painting contractors and I say guaranteed accurate quote. Why? Because most people who dealt with contractors, they all have some horror story, even if it's really not theirs and he just stole it from Uncle Harry, that they were overcharged. The guy came in, he was going to paint this room, and he said it was going to be $500, but then he handed him the bill at $700. Everybody has that horror story, even if they didn't really experience it. It's pop culture. So you want to think about different ways to stand out with your offer. So again, just a couple examples. On-site solar assessment, guaranteed accurate quote. All we're doing is taking a free quote and putting in there guaranteed accurate. For a free guaranteed accurate quote. For a complimentary guaranteed. You can play around with these words. And here's the beauty about the internet. It's not set in stone. Somebody gets so stressed out about this stuff. It's like, hey, woosah, because you can change it in a month if you want to. We're not etching this in rock. You know what I mean? It's cool. So you want to... Yeah, you want to play around with these things. Now, still picking on Laura, is basically transactional. Sometimes it's cool to give away the farm, right? When